Were you worried? Because I mean, your first round, like I said, both of you guys had great first rounds in terms of just the mutual crowd response. But after his first, were you worried that, you know, the crowd's energy kind of got sapped a little bit away from you from the things that he did? Because obviously in the second round was when the momentum started to shift and people,
yeah,
you know, turned against
I
you.
couldn't help but, yeah, I couldn't help but think. I mean, you got to know how the room gets split up, and then you know how he say in terms of. I caught the line. He said, "Yo, you put yourself in the box." You know what I'm saying with that. So I caught that line. You know what I mean. And these you got to know in debate, man. You got to turn strengths into weaknesses. You know what I mean. So he played on people's unwillingness to say, okay, that is what it's supposed to be in truth. You know what I mean? My argument is my argument. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it makes a whole lot of sense. You know what I mean? From what I stand on. Like, I don't never need nobody to get it twisted. Like, no, I'm from where you from. Like, we come out about that thing. Like, yeah, that's truth. Ain't no disputing that. We from the same block. You go and ask questions. Yeah, that's what it is. Just recognize and see things that everybody don't see. So I tend to touch on it because I recognize what this shit is overall. You know what I'm saying? So him splitting the room up like that, yeah, that's going. You know what I mean? Because he can recognize that. And we recognize that it's entertainment. You know what I mean? But like I said, I'm a man with a cause. You know what I mean? So it's a little deeper for me. So yeah, it's entertainment. You know, but truth is truth. You know what I'm saying? But him splitting up the room, of course, that's an angle people gonna be receptive to.
Did it fluster you when?
What more so was how my approach could have been towards everything to what it was. So I'm in there, yeah. I got rhymes, like you know, nigga, nice for real. Like I can put that thing together. You know what I'm saying? But my thing, like I said, I take full responsibility. Is the approach. You know what I mean? It's battles. It's areas of it. Like that, his angles and different things. That's tools used to, yeah, I'm gonna split the room up. This is where I get advantage at. Of course I would. Like, you know what I mean? He right in that regard. Me and my approach to it, it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, this is where we should have been at. He showed me once again, and I thank him for it, man. You need that adversity. Helps with creating more progress and really seeing what's what. This is what it's gonna be, and this is what it is. You know what I mean? Niggas ain't playing. You know what I mean? So how I took it and how I would approach situations, that ain't everybody coming from it like that. You know what I mean? Especially in this arena. You know what I mean? He came to win at any means necessary. Nothing, you know. I can't, you know, expect. But I see what it is now. You know what I'm saying?
He kind of played upon your Calico approach, where you know you pulled up the Instagram and he pulled out the Busta Rhymes, I guess an old school track or whatever.
Yeah.
How shocked were you that he had that, and do you know how he got it or who gave it to him?
Yeah, you know. I definitely know exactly where he got it from, but this is why I say this is necessary. All of this happening, you know what I'm saying, is very necessary for that next phase. This next thing we about to walk into. You know what I mean? It all has to spin like this. In the wake-up calls, you know what I mean? Like I'm really on a mission and certain things have to be seen and certain things have to be moved out of the way too for you to get there. You know what I mean? And like if you're a man on a path, you recognize that with changing certain ideas and mindset, the world shows you new things and new people. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know where that came from. And I know where I came from because I know where I'm going. So that's the result of that. And, you know, we all opportunists. He seen an opportunity and he jumped on it. You know what I mean? He played on that. All's fair in love and war. That's how it go. You know what I mean? So, like I said, this is all a part of the grand scheme of things. Gotta get this now. Gotta, let me re-wake you up in case you forgot, nigga, like what this is. Like, you know, you in that thing. No matter how, you know what I mean, where you going and you know, you know, how you say, get into your to your mold and your principles and your righteous stakes and all of that. You know what I mean? It's still, you know what I mean, when you walk in here, you gotta know who you're around, what you're around. And you gotta conduct yourself as such. You know what I'm saying? To a degree. But still keep in mind, you know what I mean, your purpose and where you going. So, you know, that's me learning the mediums and balance all over again. Why this is necessary. And yo, like I said, man, I love all my brothers of the cloth, because all of us go in here and we teach one another about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? These are gains, though. Even in what the world would consider, quote unquote, yo, that's a loss. You know what I'm saying? I see it for what it's supposed to be. I need that. You know what I mean? To see this next thing over the hill. So, like I said, man, my man with a cause, you know, losing the battle, but that we gonna win that war, though. You know what I mean? Because this is things to take from there to keep going. Like I said, and then a lot of things I get in depth with too. That Beloved 2 is on the way. You know what I'm saying? I really touch on, you know what I mean, where certain relationships were. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm going into. So, you know, it's so funny how it all come together full circle. You know, the earth round, man. You know, it's a circle, man. You always gotta, you know, come back to the essence. And this is what every experience does. That's why people fast, man. It's just a humbling experience. You know what I mean? It's just to wake things up so you can see what's what, who's who. You know? And it is what it is.
Let me ask you, your third round. Now I'm gonna tell you, being in the venue, number one, the microphones, in my opinion, were a little bit like bassy. It was like you couldn't hear everything clearly.
Yeah, I heard.
And on top of that, you know, with the crowd interference and everything, I was trying very hard to paint a picture of what the story was you were trying to tell. Like, you brought the group of people on the stage. And one of them would look like a old school, young version of LL Cool J.
Yeah.
They threw a jacket onto the floor, but I couldn't hear the story. What was going on with the whole entourage on the stage?
Oh, nah. The whole idea was went along with the theme. You know what I mean? It held true to the theme in regards of, first of all, the whole idea. You know, the first line I come out the gate with King of Harlem, motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it was a display, you know what I'm saying, at a time in Harlem where the confidence level was through the roof. You know what I mean? It was a lot of, you know what I mean, money and different things happening that you know was a good time for folks. But so we used you know, that makeup, you know what I mean, that you know, scene to paint a story, and at the same time, you know, it tied into Throw Paid in Full idea, you know what I'm saying, or Ace being at the cleaners and different things like that. So you got to pay close attention to it, you know what I mean. Dude walking in, you know what I mean. But if you look at it, you know what I mean, you'll see it. I don't know if the camera caught everything and how it was displayed, but it tied into the whole storyline. You know what I'm saying? Other coat and everything coming back around. Okay. And yeah, so we set it up from that point of view.
In the battle, as the rounds progress and everything, I noticed at times uncharacteristic actions, you know, where you were talking, when he would say stuff, like you were kind of like, the crowd would react to something, I guess, a little more basic, and you would be like, for real, like y'all acting for, you're like, y'all reacting for that or whatever. He also, I saw him poking you a number of times and like kind of bumping you a little bit in during the battle. And at one point, I saw you do a little shoulder check, like get away from me type of motion.
Yo, if it was happening like that, because I'm listening to you ask me the question, like, all that was probably just off instinct. Okay. You know, a lot of times when you went there and I know because we all do it when you speak to other artists, you know, you pacing, but your mind is in your mind, pretty much. So if he doing it, then that probably was instinct. You know what I'm saying? If I poke back, but me really playing into that or thinking about that, nah, I never thought about it. Never thought about it. My thing was more so on what I'm about to do next, and then at the same time I'm listening to him too, like when he rhyming. You know what I mean? But yeah, I wasn't like that.
When the crowd just kept going, they wouldn't stop, just talking over your bars or booing or whatever the case was. Math, when I interviewed him afterwards, he said one mistake he thinks you made was you didn't stop to try to get them to calm down. You just kept spitting respectfully because you don't want to stop rapping. But if you could go back, would you try to maybe let the crowd settle a second so they can actually hear your bars?
Nah. If I had to do it again, like I said, it's just the approach. Because what I begin to understand is that room, certain atmospheres are just made for instant gratification. That wouldn't be like the same battle if we was like in like a Black Star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to think of the room.
Right.
That's a Black Star opposed to Black Star's a more intimate setting.
Yep.
So the way you receiving the information is different too. You know what I mean? You're more receptive and more attentive too. You got room to be. But you trying to listen in, then your man right here screaming, and then you got these lights, and then a lot of aesthetics that goes with how you picking up or receiving the information. You know what I mean? So you really got to think about that. So my whole thing is no, I wouldn't try to get the crowd involved. I'd have just known what the approach is now, how we dealing. I'd have just kept going, because it was like when I was battling Hollow. You know what I mean? Everybody ain't gonna try to be with you because everybody want to root for who they root for. So I'm used to being in battles where I've been in the middle of projects where ain't nobody trying to hear that because they man rapping and they don't want to make a gesture or facial expression that they give you one up on their man. So I've been in these situations. Okay. You know what I mean? I'd have just kept going, and then when you get it back on camera and you really digesting it or dissecting it, you like, oh shit, man, but he was saying something. You know what I mean? Because right there, of course, you're gonna have a poker face on. Used to that. Okay. Yeah.